Are joined now on Next by RTD Spokesman Nate Currey. Thanks for coming by.
Glad to be here.
So I don't even have to ask you the first question.
The train is running well today, Kyle. It's running well.
Very nice. All right, very good. We try to do days when the train is running and days when the train is having trouble as well. More broadly, though, you guys are about to go to federal regulators and ask for another extension to get things sorted out with the aid line. What is the persistent problem?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a persistent problem. It's more of a project management side that they have set up for us. So the waivers are set out a certain date as a kind of a hard check for us. In the meantime, we've had lots of check-ins with them throughout and updating on the progress that we've made to get it where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. What's the sticky issue, though?
Sticky issue is largely the software that causes the gate arms to come down a little bit too early and stay too late. We've made some major advancements with the software. We're seeing some really good progress, and they're pleased with where we're at too.
Did RTD buy a product that doesn't work?
That's a great question. There is no Microsoft Windows 95 that you could just take off the shelf and buy it, right, like this. And so this software is being designed from scratch, and it's never been done before. So it's something we had to do, and it's been a challenge, for sure.
At this point, does RTD still have confidence in Denver Transit Partners?
We do have confidence in them. I think that they've inherited a system, too, that they have had mandated by the federal regulators that every railroad has. And so it's much more of a challenge than we expected. It's taken longer, but we're confident that they're working on it. I mean, they're out there every day. They want to get this fixed just as much as we do.
Is there any chance that when you guys go to the feds and ask for this extension, they will say no, shut down the A-line?
There's always that chance, and I wouldn't want to portend any decision they make. We don't think that will happen. We've been working very closely with them, and they're great partners of ours. But there's always that chance. We're not expecting that.
Mm-hmm. Reliability. Where are we now on reliability and on time with the A-line?
So it's a good question. 97.7% of our trips leaving Union Station on the way to the airport have arrived within 15 minutes of their scheduled arrival time. And so I think that rivals, actually it beats out any airline if you're thinking about it in those terms. But when we struggle, they're spectacular struggles. So.
Yeah. Do you know what that median delay time is? Because I think that's what people want to build in. Okay, so if you're running 97% on time and I hit the 3%, is it going to be 15 minutes or is it going to be an hour? What's that median? Yeah,
we talked about this before. So we never did have that median time. Mm-hmm. I think that there are a few major instances where it's been over an hour, and that's been well publicized. But by far and large, if there are a delay in that 3.3%, it's around 15 minutes to a half an hour at the most. So that's where we see the majority of the stickiness.
Was 15 minutes the standard, the flexible standard all along, or was it 5 minutes at some point?
Yeah, so actually to be scheduled on time, considered in the railroad industry, is you don't depart one minute before or 5 minutes post the scheduled time. And so if we're sticking to those standards, it's a little bit different, but that within a 15-minute window is kind of what we're talking about, because every train leaves every 15 minutes.
Sure,
so if
but
you
I feel
miss
like
that,
at one point we were talking about a 5-minute window. Were we not, that if a train was more than 5 minutes late, it was considered?
Yeah, that's right.
Late. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your percentage if 5 minutes is the standard and not 15?
Yeah, actually, I don't know that number, but I can get you back on that. It's not that much more, honestly, because we can make up time on the route, just like airplanes can. My guess is it would be around 90%, 88 to 90% on-time ratio right now. It was poor, it was in the upper 70s last we checked it.
And it's still not where you guys want it, which would be mid-90s like your light rail.
Yeah, 92% is always the goal. I believe we were 89 to 90% right now as far as the actual on-time ratio goes.
Sure.
But that 15-minute window is significant, because if that gets missed, folks typically know, hey, that next train's going to be departing in the next 15 minutes. So.
Yeah. We had a next viewer who's a bit of a scholar of life who asked us if the A-line train is running 15 minutes behind, but there's a train every 15 minutes, is the train actually completely on time? That was kind of trippy, but it's not. By your standard, it's not.
Yeah, I tell you, it was a mind-blown kind of thing at RTD and the DTP. That made the rounds internally.
Yeah.
And the answer is it's definitely not on time, but it gets the schedule back to on schedule, and so that's the important thing. But it's a very astute question.
That one blew my mind too. All right, so now we have a situation where the issues with the A-line are backing up into the G-line, going out to Wheat Ridge, because the feds are not going to let you test that thing or run that thing until you figure out what's going on with the A-line. And the question that people in Wheat Ridge have is, when's it going to happen? Yeah,
we wish we had a good answer for that. We're beholden to the process that we've agreed to, and it's there for a reason. I think if we were out testing fully on the G line right now, we'd be blowing horns like crazy through there as well. And the major difference is the A line has 30% residential along the way. The G line has 80% residential. And so we'd really be annoying a lot more people than we already need to right now, unnecessarily. We're pretty confident the thing's built out. We're going to hit some things that we'll find once we start testing G, but largely, once A and B, we've got the green light. It'll be a fairly quick process to get G back up and running and get it in operating condition.
Is the G line to Wheat Ridge going to happen by the end of 2017?
Oh, we certainly expect it to. Yeah, it's if not, then I'm sure I'll be back here a few times talking to you. So
okay, let me ask you this: do you guys know what the projected date is, but you don't feel like you can share it, or you don't have a projected date?
We actually don't have a projected date right now, and that's just not even part of the conversation. Frankly, with our federal partners, G is not part of the conversation. We've just set that to the side and said, look, we won't even be starting testing on it until A and B are resolved. So we are focusing on A and B, making sure that is our priority. And we know that once that happens, G will automatically follow.
Has anybody been held accountable?
Accountable how? That's a good question. I mean, I think as far as people being fired, no. I think that's largely a function of the way contracts are written and being a government agency as well. A lot of the people that were responsible for this decisions being made a long time ago are no longer around, and so it's tough. I think what we've got at RTD is a whole new generation of leadership that's coming into this and inheriting a challenge, probably the biggest professional challenge we've ever had in our lives, and really looking for quick solutions that make sense to get this thing running like it was intended, like it was promised. Those of us coming into RTD super excited about this process are just as disappointed and frustrated as the rest of the public, because we love this stuff. I mean, I moved back here to Colorado to work on this, and have been following this my entire life. So having this stumble like it has is disappointing for me personally too.
So I hear that you guys feel the disappointment and the frustration that other people feel. Is it salvageable? Is there any aspect of this that you guys look at and go, I don't know if we're going to fix that?
It's definitely salvageable. I mean, it's all fixable. It's just a matter of getting this new technology to talk to one another and to work as intended. And I think sometimes it's a little bit optimistic to expect a new system to work perfectly, or to have an idea what that's going to look like, and then when your rubber hits the road, it's not working that way. And so you've got to have a lot of really smart people figuring out software, really complex software, and people are unpredictable, right? So we're seeing all these variables go into it that they didn't plan for, and so they've got to think on their feet and every week update and update and update, and we'll get there. As far as our reputation, we realize that we've taken a hit on this, and deservedly so. I think that what we know is reliability is the number one most important thing to the public, and until we have that on these lines, we know that it's suffering, and we get that, and that is our number one priority. Safety, reliability are it.
Specific question about the G line before we go. We've reported here that in our view, you guys were not transparent enough about the testing on the A line, that there was a rosier picture painted of those test results than what really happened, that it was supposedly problem-free when it was not. Does that mean more testing for the G line? Different testing for the G line?
The testing on the G line, it's all the same system. That's important to know. So A, B, and G are all commuter rail, same software, same at-grade crossing systems. It will require testing, and we know that we will find kinks in the armor, right? Like there will be issues because we haven't been testing, that we'll find. That should not be unexpected. But in general, it'll go a lot quicker, I think, because if A and B are working, G is working automatically as well, as far as the software goes.
And one final question: how many times a week while watching Next are you tempted to pick up your television and physically throw it across the room?
Let me just tell you this: every time you mention us, I don't even need to be watching, because I get lots of texts and tweets and Nate, how you doing? Kyle's talking about you again.
I hope you know. I hope you know. We wish you success.
I know you do.
And our goal is your goal, which is a world-class train system that serves this community well. And I wish you luck in getting there quickly.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks, Kyle.